is the Singhu border that you just crossed to come to Rishihood. When that was happening, a lot of students very confused about why this is happening. So if some young policy enthusiast has to take away any leadership lessons out of this, how do negotiations happen? What are those factors?
Agriculture, when we talk about, it's a very hybrid animal. In the constitution, it says agriculture is a state subject. But then MSP policy is a central subject. Fertilizer subsidy is a central subject. When you are trying to carry out reforms in agriculture, you have to take states on board. Last 22 years, water table has gone down by 11.5 meters. So almost half a meter every year your water table is going down. Both Punjab and Haryana. It's an ecological disaster happening right under our nose.
Yeah.
So we have to find an alternative. Farmers' income should never go down. That's the bottom line.
Namaste, Professor Gulati.
Namaskar.
Welcome to Rishihood. And you are a very popular face on TV. Not too many economists come on TV and discuss public issues on a daily basis, and we are fortunate to have been listening to you. And on the topics that you discuss, Rishihood has directly been impacted and has been a part of it, because you know that this is the Singhu border that you just crossed to come to Rishihood. And when that was happening, a lot of students here were always very confused about why is this happening, when will this end? And then it happened again, and you can still see the barricades out there. So rather than, the specifics of the policy and what exactly were the points of disagreement, I think if some young policy enthusiast has to take away any leadership lessons out of this, right? So how do negotiations happen? What are those factors that sometimes we don't consider and something else could happen? Because they would be in positions of taking such decisions, running such negotiations, getting multi-parties to agree on something. So if you could share us some of those quick thoughts that would come to your mind on what are the takeaways from a leadership perspective.
You know, agriculture, when we talk about, it's a very hybrid animal. In the constitution, it says agriculture is a state subject.
Yeah.
But then MSP policy is a central subject. Fertilizer subsidy is a central subject.
Okay.
Trade policy is a central subject.
Yeah.
Green revolution was brought by the center. White revolution was brought by the center.
Yeah.
But when you want to carry out all India reforms in markets of agriculture, I think you need to have a better communication with the states.
Okay.
And one submission that I'll make, the learning from this fiasco, if I may call that, was that we should have a sort of an agri-council of ministers and another agri-council for farmers.
Okay.
That means on the GST council lines. GST was not passed in 3 months.
Yeah.
It took 10 years to negotiate.
Yeah.
And all the states have to be brought on board. So same thing when you are trying to carry out reforms in agriculture, you have to take states on board.
Okay.
And that means every Kharif and every Rabi season,
Yeah.
all the agriculture ministers should be brought to the center
Okay.
and listen to their concerns.
Okay.
Because one type of policy may not fit all the sizes. One shoe will not fit all the. Agriculture is very diverse in this country.
Yeah.
And some states like Punjab, Haryana are tuned to MSP business for the last 60 years.
Yeah.
Since 65, then the agriculture price, they have been selling at MSP, so they know only MSP. But they don't ask for MSP in milk.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. You are saying that on the lines of GST council,
Yeah,
you build a center-state kind of a coordination
that's right.
council, and all these various aspects should be discussed there.
That's right.
And you said these negotiations will take a lot of time. We should be ready for it because we have to get all interests on board. But you will always have the vocal dissenting minority, right? For example, even in this case, it's not a nationwide opposition to this, right? It's 2 small states around the national capital that have kind of been the most vocal minority around it. How do you handle when you have someone like that on the table?
It's not very difficult. Let me say that.
Okay.
And I'll suggest. These 2 states have gained the maximum from MSP policy,
Okay.
from free power, from huge fertilizer subsidies in the country.
Okay.
Right? Now you look at what is happening. They are basically rice wheat rotation, rice wheat. Rice is consuming almost 25 irrigations it takes.
Okay.
If you grow pulses, it will need only 2 irrigations. Right? We calculated in the case of Punjab, per hectare, how much is the subsidy in rice cultivation from power, from canal water and from fertilizer?
Yeah.
It's about 38,900 rupees per hectare.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, major part of that is coming from the power, free power.
Yeah.
Punjab is in Punjab's budget. If
Yeah.
it goes bust, it will be because of power subsidy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they are in a very precarious situation on the budget side.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens this year.
Okay.
They'll have to take loans to pay salaries.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
this is the situation. Now, fertilizer subsidy is a central subject. So, if you say, okay, you should not grow paddy because your water table is going down. Last 22 years, water table has gone down by 11.5 meters or so. So, almost half a meter every year your water table is going down, both Punjab and Haryana. It's an ecological disaster happening right under our nose.
Yeah.
So, we have to find an alternative. 3.2 million hectares in Punjab and about 1.5 million hectare in Haryana. This 4.5 million hectare of rice. Out of that, minimum 1 million hectare needs to be shifted to other crops.
Okay.
Pulses we are importing. Oil seeds, edible oil we are importing. They are nitrogen fixing. They don't need fertilizer. They don't need that much of power because it doesn't need that much of irrigation. So, we worked it out. If you give 40,000 rupees per hectare to pulses and oilseed growers in Punjab and Haryana belt, you are not spending anything extra because you will save from your power subsidy and you will center will save from fertilizer subsidy. So it should be a 50-50 package. Okay?
Yeah.
The moment you announce that we will give 40,000 rupees and no greenhouse gas emissions, you should reward them for that.
Okay.
And more nutrition than rice in pulses.
Yeah.
So if you say I'm going to give you 40,000 rupees on a 50-50 basis, that is 20,000 rupees center and 20,000 rupees, then the profitability in pulses and oilseeds can hopefully match the profitability in rice.
Okay.
And then there will be
Okay.
transformation that can take place. Farmers will not crib and cry. We must recognize that the farmers of Punjab and Haryana have done a great service to the nation. They have literally saved the nation from starvation.
Yeah.
The Green Revolution seat,
Yeah.
they should not be penalized for it, but an alternative has to be found because the situation of 1960s is not the situation in 2024.
That's interesting because you're saying we don't have to change the financial outlays. You just realign the incentives in a different way, and then the cropping patterns would change, and there would be a win-win.
Farmers' income should never go down.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. True.
But you need to now take care of the planet concerns also.
Correct. Yes.
So you should reward him.
Yeah.
Give him 10% more, 15% more. Now he says, okay, I'm ready to shift to pulses. But if the prices go down below MSP, what happens? Rice and wheat, I'm sure I can dump it to the government. You say for the next 5 years, 10 years, he will purchase at MSP. What is the problem? You create a stabilization fund for 20,000 crores.
And the additional maybe second order, third order effects are, of course, the pollution issues which happen due to paddy and things like that.
We worked it out.
Yeah.
You know, when you are flooding your fields, first there is a methane. It's a factory of methane.
Okay.
Punjab and Haryana next 2 months is the biggest factory of methane, literally.
Wow. Okay.
Because when you are flooding
Yeah.
in rice cultivation, methane is emitting.
Yeah.
Then you apply fertilizers.
Yes.
When you apply fertilizers, urea, plant is consuming only 35 to 40% upper limit. Rest is going in the environment as nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is 273 times the carbon equivalence on a 100-year cycle.
Okay.
Then there is all these tractors and harvest combines on diesel.
Yeah.
And then the last nail in the coffin is the stubble burning.
Yeah.
All these together, when you calculate, there is a 5 ton of carbon equivalence that is being created per hectare of paddy field. Now, if you want to decarbonize agriculture, you should do carbon pricing. So anybody who is shifting from this to this, we have worked on that about $40 per ton. That means 5 tons, $200. That means about 16 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees if you can give.
Yeah.
To that, on top of this 40,000 subsidy, you give them 50,000 rupees, people will switch.
Okay. But do you also think that there are other vested interests that have a role to play and they also need to be brought on board, like the so-called middlemen, who are the traders and they have an interest in this?
All value chains, because at present the commission agents are the biggest beneficiaries. The state government is the biggest beneficiary. What are they doing? They are putting 8.5% on top of MSP.
Okay.
Earlier it used to be 14.5%.
Okay.
You want to sell wheat and rice free, and then you're paying 8.5% on mandi tax and then this cess or that cess, 2.5% commission of the commission agent.
Okay.
So they are well entrenched into that.
Okay.
Now you tell the state government, when we are shifting from this, no state government will get more than 3%, including the commission agent's fee. This is what the norm is in UP or in Madhya Pradesh or any other place. You say, we will not buy from any state if it is more than 3%. Now the state will lose 5,000 crores they get, these fees. So then you say, okay, next 3 years, 5 years, we will compensate you. Like the GST Council did. So you phase out that over 3 years, 5 years, we will compensate you, but you have to change this system. Because you are making the system inefficient.
It's interesting that if you can, as you're saying, realign the incentives, make everybody a winner economically, the state saves, the farmers earn more, you could realign their cropping patterns to something else. But one more just question, unlike the GST Council, right, whenever anything about farmers is spoken about, this whole Annadata narrative comes in where you're talking about there's an emotional attachment to the farmer and it is seen like somebody's fleecing them, right? Unlike the GST traders, they're seen like, oh, they are the businessmen, let them lose, right? But here, how it should become very difficult, right? When anything you talk about it is seen from a very emotional lens and the political narrative around it comes around. So, do you think so?
There is no harm in that emotion because we were a food scarce country. And farmers did a yeoman's job.
Yes.
They fed us.
So
we should salute them like we salute. But लाल बहादुर शास्त्री ने स्लोगन दिया था जय जवान जय किसान. वाजपेयी साहब ने उसके बाद ऐड किया कि जय विज्ञान. ठीक है, तो साइंस बेस्ड अब करना है. तो अब इसके साथ if we have to go forward, we have to give them a better deal that increases their income, not reduces. But at the same time, it has to take care of the planet's concerns.
Right.
And that planet's concern is what is happening to your soil. Punjab, Haryana soils have a carbon content of less than 0.6. 60% of the soil is like that. Okay? It should be between 1.5 to 2%. That's what Ratan Lal, the World Food Laureate, talks about, who is from Haryana. So our soils are very short of organic carbon. We are throwing carbon in the environment, not putting in the soil which needs it. Water table is going down. This is the biggest depletion in the country in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan. We need to arrest that. Greenhouse gas emissions. Biodiversity is lost. Punjab had only 4.8% area under paddy cultivation in 1960s. Today 40% area is only under paddy. So all the crops are gone, so biodiversity is lost. You need to bring them back. But if you say bring it back and the farmer's income goes down, it's a non-starter. So the innovation lies in your reorienting the existing policies with the existing resources, maybe some bit more, so that you attract and quickly divert the ship from a non-sustainable nature of agriculture today to a more sustainable and more profitable agriculture of tomorrow.
So very compelling argument, and as an economist, of course, you have placed it on the table, you have spoken about it on multiple fora. So question again from a young policy enthusiast's lens, does it seem frustrating to you that when everything seems to be so right, yet the political will or the whole effort to get people aligned is not there or is still waiting to happen? So how do you feel about it? Because the ones who choose research, how should they look at such things? Because things look great when you want to propose it, but you don't see them through. So how do you handle such things?
It depends upon who are your political masters. Because ultimately policies have to be framed by them.
Yeah.
We can only advise, we
Yes.
can do research.
Yeah.
Political masters who are chosen by us
Hmm.
don't have domain expertise. Okay?
Hmm.
So they go for freebies, ye bhi free de dunga, ye bhi free de dunga. They have to attract votes.
Yeah.
That's their main job. That's why they are in politics. So
Yeah.
first thing is free power.
Yeah.
Not realizing it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Loan waiver,
Hmm.
another disaster.
Yeah.
So the culture is finished.
Hmm.
So if you have such leaders who believe only in freebies, then the sector will never be put on track.
Okay.
Now the only breathing space is that you are getting food. Okay?
Yeah.
If the food was not available, then you would have done something.
Yeah.
How did we do reforms in 91?
No money.
Was it our wish to do reform? We
No
were
money.
driven to the wall.
Yeah.
We were driven to the wall. We had only foreign exchange of $1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Who wanted to do reforms?
No.
We were forced.
Yes.
And today, how much foreign exchange we have? More than $650 billion.
Yeah.
That's the biggest achievement. That has
Yes.
given to you resilience.
Yeah.
So unless you are driven to the wall, if there are 3 years of drought in the country, which is not impossible, because the climate change, the way it is coming,
Yeah.
it's already on our head.
Yeah.
If there are 3 years of drought in this country and heat wave goes to 50 degrees centigrade, you had it. Then they will reform this sector.
Yeah.
But so long as food is available, सबको मिल रहा है, free बांटी जाओ.
Yeah. In some ways, it's frustrating that we'll have to be driven to the wall to make a reform because we would want to preempt
That's right.
being driven to the wall. But
The wisdom lies in preempting.
yeah.
But the foolish people
Yeah.
only reform when they are driven to the wall and they have no other option but to collapse.
So yeah, so sometimes you're saying a crisis is also beneficial because suddenly you make a quantum leap in doing reforms which would have been on the desk for so long, right? So I don't know if you have to wish for a crisis.
I don't want to wish,
but yeah,
but I only wish that our leaders have some wisdom to
more
do it.
foresight in doing this.
Because इसमें दोनों हाथ में लड्डू हैं.
Yeah.
You do the economic welfare of the largest segment of population.
Yes.
45.8% of your workforce is engaged in agriculture. And they are still waiting for reforms and
Yes.
their income. Or doubling of farmers' income, where did that slogan go? क्या हुआ?
Yeah.
So you need to have a champion leader. Now Prime Minister cannot do everything.
Yeah.
So earlier who was the agriculture minister? I'm sorry to say this, but
Yes.
I mean if
It's
you
his
don't have the champions
Yeah.
to do these things or don't understand fully, then you, I hope now the new government with Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan that has come, he has soiled his hands in Madhya Pradesh and he has delivered agriculture rate of growth in Madhya Pradesh between 2005 to 23, 6.8% rate of growth.
Yeah.
Overall GDP growth was 7%, agriculture GDP was 6.8%.
Wow.
This combo is a great achievement.
Yeah.
And most probably that is the reason he has been given the agriculture. So it's a opportunity for him to show that he can do it at all India level, but it's also a challenge.
Yeah.
Because India is too large and too diverse.
Yes.
So one shoe will not fit all. And that's why this Agriculture Council
Council.
submission that we are making to them that please listen to this, you will do good for both.
Yeah.
Largest number of people will gain and country will rise and you will get political votes.
Yes.
Because when largest people gain,
Yeah.
they will bring you back. Shivraj Singh Chauhan came back as Chief Minister 4 times.
Yeah. Yes. So hope for the best, Professor Gulati. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we will not be pushed to the wall and there'll be more preemptive work that happens. And hopefully our delegates whom you addressed today will play a role in also providing the right research inputs to the government.
I would say you are sitting and heading the Rishihood University.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity as a Rishi
Yeah.
meditates
Yes.
and thinks of the future.
Yeah.
I think you can provide that leadership from here through your students, through your teachers, whatever little we can contribute in this ये हवन है
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
और इस हवन में आहुति चाहिए कुछ देना है तो उसमें अगर आप करें if
Yeah.
you lead this and this Rishihood really becomes a great Krishihood
Yeah.
from Rishihood to Krishihood.
That's a
then
great
you have
plan.
achieved
Amazing.
your objective.
Amazing. That's the first time I heard that. That's a good thought for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.